Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Ashwin, and this is a new idea that I'm working out with my teacher. It's called Yogi by Design. So, this idea is very simple. The idea is to discuss a more optimized system that we can use in our daily life. The main objective here is to see how yogis build systems. What are the tricks which they use to make something better than what we normal people use? So today's topic here is education. So this is something which a lot of us have a lot of problems with, mainly. Uh, Everybody kind of blames education for messing up their life, and they've got a lot of concerns over it. So today we're going to be discussing education system that mainly is implemented, at least in India, at least. So uh, with no further ado, uh, here's my teacher Guru Pashupati.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Guru Pashupati, and I head an akhada called Trilok Akhada, which is a warrior school of yoga, and it's outlived all all possible formal education. It's probably the oldest school in the world because it's 17,000 years old, and it's been sometimes it goes underground and sometimes it comes back up at various times in history. And right now, Triloka Khara is coming back to help people discover alternative ways to do things with a wealth of knowledge that has been preserved in our school. So I'm really happy to contribute to this quest of how we can do things better, how we can make build better systems, and why not the system of education. Let's start with it and see whether we can apply any of the old yoga lessons to it. But let me clarify that this is not the yoga that got revived after independence with a nationalistic fervor, trying to create a system of exercise based on the hatha yogis. The hatha yogis are just one type of yogis, and they're called the stubborn ones. Hatha means stubborn. Then they're not they're not the mainstream. They were not the mainstream yogis, but now they are. There is many different definitions for yoga, but my favorite definition is one that lives their life according to nature's rules and not human rules. So understanding how nature works and then creating a lifestyle that mimics nature and is close to nature and is renewable and recyclable, and all these buzzwords that we use right now, sustainable, has already been discovered. And then it's a cycle, we get wise, we get stupid, we get wise, we get stupid. This is the human cycle. All right, because when
Yeah,
you become ultimately wise and solved all problems on the planet, then what do you have to do? You have to make new problems, or you have to go to other planets. We've done both in the past, and not much of it has been documented by the current keepers of history, which are Western historians. A lot of the world history has not been documented, and now with the internet, what we get as history is only the history that has been documented by biased Western uh, historians. So there's more to it. Okay, so let's get down to it.
yeah. So again, as you were saying, with respect to the Western world, the education in India seems to be a very Western concept right now. It seems to be a very industrial process of you
Yeah,
graduate through classes, and
yeah,
it's a
that was
very
Sir Ken Wilber who did this lecture on
Mhm.
how education follows an industrial process. He did the most watched TED talk on this. I mean, the most watched TED talk is Sir Ken Wilber's talk on how education follows a system that is no longer required, and we need to we need to reform it and things like that. So yeah, it is definitely based upon creating factory workers, creating a standard. It's from the industrial age. Education, as we know it currently, is from the industrial age, and it's to create a whole regiment of workers
Yeah.
who you could replace with one. You can take Ashwin and replace him with somebody else. He would still do his job. Those were
Yeah.
simpler times, but we don't live in those simple times anymore because industrialization led to the information age, and now the information age has reached its maturity, and we're like, there's no excuse to not have knowledge.
Mm.
Most of the knowledge is available for free
Yeah.
online, and
You just
people
have to search
who,
it for it. That's it.
yeah, you if you want to be in an education as a business, you have to give knowledge that's not on Google and can never be and shouldn't be.
Mm.
Otherwise you lose your income. So I don't think we should resist this. I think we should embrace it and then put out all our knowledge for free, which is what I've been doing on YouTube, putting out all my knowledge for free, except a few things that I can't give out to everybody because they'll make a mess of it. Such things need to be taught in person. Otherwise, all the general stuff can be put out on YouTube for free, really. The entire Hatha Yoga sequences can be on YouTube for free because you can learn it from YouTube. But there are some things like subtle breathing, subtle adjustment, subtle things that you can't learn on a lot of YouTube, even in Hatha Yoga. So technology hasn't replaced a human teacher yet. That's where we are at.
Mm.
But it will. Technology will eventually replace every human teacher. There's no doubt about it.
Mm.
We're going to get there.
So, my main thing here is, since this is a very industrial process and very disconnected, I want to
Mhm.
know how was the education system before all of these things? Were
Before
people
we
getting
had
educated in masses, or was
no, no,
education
no.
for a select few?
Education was not for everybody. There were 64 subjects. They called the 64 Royal Arts,
Hmm.
including, I mean, very cool stuff like starting from how to make a bed and arrange a room
Hmm.
to how to steal something if you had to, and
Okay.
how to um, kill someone if you had to with various weapons, and also how to rule a country and how to. So these are royal arts. They were for the kings, for the ruling
Hmm.
classes, the kshatriyas,
Hmm.
and that's where they had something called a gurukulam.
Hmm.
And even there were more arts which are spiritual in nature as well among these 64. So that would be how to install a deity and things like that. So many different arts were there, and they
Hmm.
were taught. And it took years to learn this. You had to start when you were a kid of 6 or 7, and
Hmm.
then you would keep learning until you were past the age of 25. And that's after maybe around 26 you would be allowed to go and implement stuff because you could be trusted. So it took about 20 years to
Hmm.
create a educated person. But there was also lesser arts which are not ruling arts, which were carried on in I forget the English word for it, but gurukulam is the word even for this. Okay,
Hmm.
so let's say you're a very skilled potter, and you would have a school where other people could come and learn, and your job is to get them to manufacture to do your stuff as soon as possible. So there would be classes, there'd be a classroom stuff, and then get them to be quickly manufacturing pots and failing making bad pots. And then once they finish making all the bad pots, some of them become experts, and then they become the master artisans again, and they replace the teacher, and
mm,
then the teacher is free. Once the teacher has replaced himself with several
yeah,
teachers, then he can leave in peace. He doesn't have to stick around and teach,
mm,
because then he's free to learn new things. Otherwise, he will have to spend all his energy just teaching.
mm,
So there's no end to learning is also something that was passed on. Now that's what I'm doing right now, because I run a Gurukulam, one of the few in India. I just know one other person who runs a Gurukulam, who's my guru.
mm,
Dr. Jyoti Senthil Kannan runs a Gurukulam,
mm,
and he runs a Kshatriya Gurukulam, which is teaching martial arts. But my Gurukulam is more of a healers Gurukulam. It's a medical Gurukulam. So
mm,
here we bring in people, we recruit students,
mm,
and then we teach them on with real life cases on how they can cure people. They get a lot of subject knowledge about the three parts of healing: Icha, Jnana, Kriya. These three, Icha, Kriya, Jnana, actually, it goes that way. So these are the three parts of healing. And once they get trained in those three parts of healing, which is called three yojana, the three alignments. Okay,
mm,
once people get aligned, then they start healing. So now they've got to learn three yojana, and they've got to start working on it, because there's lots of subtleties in that, on how to handle clients, basically, because people are really crazy, and they give you all sorts of crazy obstacles and violent communications, even though they're your patient. By default, they only communicate violently. So you have to learn to deal with all that. So it's going to take some time. So in a year or so of just hanging out, after learning the theory and then becoming interns, these people graduate as yoga siddhas, and then they are fit to take a administrative role or a teacher's role in the Gurukulam itself. We absorb them. Then that's how the Gurukulam grows. So if you come and visit me 10 years later, I would be training, I would have trained thousands and thousands of physicians, people who can handle serious diseases and chronic and mystery illnesses that the conventional medical system is not able to handle. That's the gap I'm filling over here, because I want people to be healthy, and I want them to be healthy with a lifestyle change.
mm.
I don't want them to be healthy with medicines.
Yeah, it's like popping a
So
pill and getting healthy is a
that's not health.
we
You got to keep popping the pill. It's not health. It's
yeah.
just delaying illness,
Mm,
or delaying the serious effects of illness. You're just working on the effects. You haven't removed the cause. So
mm,
this is something that I'm doing right now, and I'm not going to be doing this forever. Maybe for the next 5 or 10 years, and then after
mm,
that, I'm going to move on to other things. In fact, I have my eyes on construction.
mm,
I think everybody needs to learn how to build their own house, just like a bird can build its nest. Every human should be capable of building their own houses, or every family should be able to build their own house. So I want to make this mainstream. I don't want to make it like right now. We live in ugly houses that are not eco-friendly and do not support the environment. You have to cut down so many trees to make your house.
mm,
So we're not building the right kind of living spaces. So for me, living spaces is next, and then after that, I don't know what's next. But
mm,
then there's so many things that people want to learn, and the Akhada has a lot of answers for that. So Gurukulam has a lot of knowledge, and it's not transferred the way that you normally think. Like right now, we need to take our knowledge, put it in a book, and then somebody else reads it from that book and learns it. Or we take our knowledge, make a video, and somebody else learns it. In
mm,
a curriculum, it's not like that. It's all about energy.
mm,
The guru is vibrating at such a high level that all the students hanging around him or her start becoming wise and knowledgeable, even if the guru doesn't teach anything.
mm,
So it's actually a very relaxed way of learning. It's learning by brainwave induction, and it's a very high technology,
mm,
and it's a very reliable technology. So you're just creating I just bought a piece of equipment. It's called the Bio Well. You can look it up.
no, I
The
know,
Bio
I'm
Well
aware of
is an amazing. I'm sure our audience are not. So
it.
the Bio Well is an amazing piece of equipment where you put your finger into a little hole into that. It's a square box. That's it. It connects to your computer, and the computer is connected to the internet and to an online software, and it gives you a reading of your bioenergy. Bioenergy is the next big thing in healing,
Mm,
but the conventional medical system doesn't even know what it is. If somebody is low on bioenergy, they're going to fall sick. There's an optimal level of energy that needs to be maintained in all the organs for it to communicate. They communicate using radio signals, and we haven't discovered this yet, but we have. There have been a few discoveries that have shown um, that our organs are working with a bioelectric field, and if that electric field is disturbed, then the organ can't work. So most sicknesses are coming from disturbances in this bioelectric field, and that's what Indians and the Chinese who copied us have been saying for years.
mm,
We've been saying it for years and years and years. Okay, that's what Africans have been saying even before the Indians. And there are, I shared to my students more than 50 words for bioenergy across the world. So it's not something new. This bioenergy, a guru has an abundance of it running for kilometers, not just, a normal human has about a meter around them, has bioenergy for a meter around them. Not even a meter, because nowadays people are not healthy. So they have
mm,
holes in that energy. And they're the ones who get affected by infections and that and this. A person with really powerful bioenergy, like my guru, Mahathir Babaji, his bioenergy is as big as a mountain. It's huge. And even if you enter his valley where he lives, you'll start feeling his energy. Okay. So like that, if we are able to maintain the right bioenergy, it's like maintaining an internet Wi-Fi
mm,
from which the student can just download anything by just being in that vicinity. And I have
mm,
learned to transmit this over Zoom calls and
mm,
StreamYard and things like that, because you can transmit it over the internet. And this is the bioenergy healing that people seek, and this is what they need. Okay, so I've been teaching people how to do this, how to tap into the real source of energy,
mm,
which is the earth and the sky, and then how
mm,
to use that, and the sun and the moon and the stars and everything around
mm,
us is a source of energy, and we ourselves, our hearts are a source of energy. If we keep our heart clean, then there's infinite energy coming out of our heart. Okay,
mm,
so it's very very strong, this thing, and that's how gurukulams used to run in the past.
mm,
Later it got corrupted when Buddhism came by, and then the gurukulam system was not there anymore. It was the university system that started. The first university was in India, Nalanda
mm,
University. Why? Because they wanted a factory of monks to spread Buddhism. So then they created universities, and then of course, everyone got FOMO, and the Hindus
mm,
also started doing that. And
mm,
then soon there was universities and universities. There were Jain universities, Buddhist
mm,
universities, and Hindu universities,
mm,
until Mughal invaders came and started to break all that stuff. Not just Mughals, there were other invaders as well.
mm,
So all of the invaders who came and broke it, and then finally you had the British who came in, and then after
mm.
that, all of us studied in convents, and now we speak English better than Englishmen.
Yeah, true that.
At least At least now they have to change English because I can't understand what English people are speaking. They have to speak with more clarity.
So you mentioned the Gurukulam system and how a guru's role, the energy of a guru plays a very important role in teaching his students, his or her students.
Yeah.
Uh, that's got to do with my next question. Currently, the way teachers are looked at least the memories I have of teachers, is it's all about how to avoid punishment. I never I don't have any other memory of
Hmm.
teachers. Teachers equates to punishment. That's the association that I used to have,
Hmm.
and this is the association that I found that most people have with respect to the memories they have about their education. Right? Nobody likes their school because of the quality of education. They would like it for their friends or something like that.
Hmm.
So, in the current system, the way the teachers teach is very abusive in a way. So, what can we do to improve it? Is there a way to improve it in the current system?
Look,
Or
we don't have to improve anything that's not broken.
hmm.
This system is not broken. It's doing exactly what it's designed to do.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay,
It's creating people which are absorbed by the corporates now. The corporations, they want people who are trained in a system so that they can
hmm.
put them into their systems and then replace them whenever they need to. If somebody dies of corona, they replace them with someone else.
Yeah,
So that's what it is. I mean, the corporations are still the remnants of the industrial age.
hmm.
So a lot of people are hypnotized into thinking that education is the only way to earn a living. And that system is that system. You don't have to mess with it.
Right,
You just establish gurukulams. Become a guru.
hmm.
If you want to be in education, become a guru because the centerpiece of the education system is a guru.
Hmm.
And you become a guru by being an extraordinary human being, by training physically and mentally and intellectually and emotionally. You have to train very hard. You have to give up all of the emotional weakness that society imbibes you with. And you have to be some kind of superstar. Okay? So that person has that massive energy because they've really cleaned themselves from the inside. And
Hmm.
very few people become gurus. Everyone can't be a guru.
Hmm.
But those who become gurus end up running a gurukulam. Gurus should not be rare either. They need not be
Hmm.
numerous. One guru can teach thousands of people.
Hmm.
And he can create another 100 gurus who can teach 1,000 more people.
Hmm.
So that's fine. I mean, I'm creating some gurus myself,
Hmm.
right? And that's important. I nurture them, and they're the ones who are going to be the next level of gurus. So just like I've been nurtured by my guru, I too was a student at some point, and I had to work really hard on myself and understand the big picture that my body is designed to teach. I had to get that information from my ancestors, and I had to understand that this body is designed to teach. Just like someone's body is optimized for some work, like
Hmm.
swimming, or Usain Bolt's body is optimized for running, and some physical activities we can say. But there's
Hmm.
also some bodies that are optimized for making money, like Jeff Bezos' body.
Yeah,
And there's some, yeah, but people think this is this brain. It's not his brain, it's his whole body. Or Mark Zuckerberg's body is, even if he doesn't try, he's going to make money.
yeah,
Okay, so there's some things like that. Some people are optimized for that. Some people are optimized, like Elon Musk. His body is optimized also to make money. uh, Modi's body is optimized for politics. And everyone's body is optimized for something. It's when they drop all the crap that they find out what their body is optimized for, and they just go after it with all their heart. And
hmm.
a person is well into their 40s and 50s by the time they find this out.
If at all
I'm
they ever find it.
If they find it, otherwise they'll be very sick. If you don't do what your body came on earth to do, you'll be very sick. This
Hmm.
is the understanding of yoga. All right. So that is what yoga is. You have to find your yoga. Your yoga is what your body is optimized for. That's what yoga
Mm,
means.
mm,
Yoga means uh, deservingness, or um, what you're designed to do, basically. What you deserve to do. It's not something that you earn. Your body is already that because of your ancestors.
it's like you're built for that thing.
There has been massive specialization in our species,
Mm,
and it has been happening for thousands and thousands of years. And you have a highly specialized body which can do only one particular thing. And you're going to learn that from connecting with your ancestors, no other way.
mm,
And once you learn that and then you start engaging in that, then you'll wonder why you did anything else in your life. And so some people are optimized to be gurus like me, and some people are optimized to do other things. And each of them, everyone is a kind of guru at the end of the day in their
mm,
own way. Because they have to pass on their knowledge. As human beings, the only thing we have to pass on is our knowledge. And that's about it. And then not everybody can be educated in one thing. No, do you know, a lot of people can't draw. A
mm.
lot of people can't sing. A lot of people can't paint. A lot of people can't do a lot of things. And they just can't. They may try, but they'll be so bad at it. You know how many people have bought guitars and they're just sitting in their house?
There's
It
one right
hasn't
there.
been touched. You have one.
There's
I
one
have
right
one too.
there.
I have one too. I haven't touched it.
Yeah.
And I used to play guitar, but it was so difficult for me. But not the same with drawing. I never had difficulty drawing. I didn't need to go to art college. I just went to art college because I didn't know what the hell else to do. But I knew that I'm not going to be an artist. I knew there's something else happening here. So I started to get disturbed about things around me, and I started. It was long series of discovery that I had to do because I didn't have a guru at that time.
Mm,
But the moment I met my guru and he started teaching me, and then I came into his energy,
mm,
then I became a guru myself because that's what I was optimized to do. That's why he's kind of he sought me out. I didn't go looking for him. The
mm.
guru appears when the student is ready. Really,
Yeah.
you don't have to go looking for a guru. You just like go through your suffering. At some point, your suffering causes a lot of pain, and then you fix it. Then you fix it. So don't try to fix something that isn't broken and say, "Oh, the education system is industrialized and we got to do something about it." No, you don't.
Mm,
It's working. It's doing exactly what it's designed to do, and there are people whose bodies are optimized to do exactly that. There's nothing wrong with that. So don't make an enemy out of the current education system in order to bring back gurukulams.
mm.
Curriculums have nothing to do with this education system. We're not opposed to it. We're not for it. We have nothing to do with it.
So ever
Nothing
since I
at
was a
all.
kid, the concept of gurukulams has always been very fascinating to me. It's like
Mhm.
living for the process of learning some skills, and just going and spending time with the teacher, and dedicate your entire energy to learning the skills. It's always been very fascinating to me, and
Yeah, but
it's
then people are so distracted.
mm,
They don't they can't do that because there's social pressure to get married, have kids,
mm,
and hold down a steady job and send money to the family, and all this pressure is not allowing them to do what they know that they're supposed to do. Like you say, you knew that you have to go and dedicate your time, but
mm,
then you go and then you won't be able to do that because you'll be engaged in so many ways. You won't have the
mm,
freedom to do that. So when that becomes really painful, all these bindings, when they become really painful, that's when you'll be able to do it.
mm,
Because otherwise you keep saying, yeah, I'll do it, and it keeps getting pushed in the timeline. And as long as you have your health, you have time. But if you don't have your health, you lose your time. So the least people should be doing right now is maintain their health, because you're going to hit your 40s by the time you actually start doing what you want to do.
mm,
For most people, so for some it's when they hit their 50s, but they're still not too late, because if you meet a real guru, he will teach you how to reverse age.
mm.
That's what happened to me. I had lost all my hair and it had turned completely white.
Yeah.
I met my gurus and then they told me how to reverse everything. Now I have time. I have health. I have time. I have the energy of a 20-year-old and I'm in my mid 40s now. Anyway,
So yeah.
do you,
So
huh,
sorry. Go
go
ahead.
on. No, I was just asking, there's one question that Abhinav was asked. Can we just take a break and answer it?
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Okay, great. So Abhinav is asking, I come from a real estate development background, and my question is Vastu as practiced today, does Vastu as practiced today have any alignment with yoga? That's the question. Does Vastu as practiced today have any alignment? Depends on who's practicing it. I wouldn't say that there are no genuine practitioners. There are. I used to know some of them, and the one person I know who used to do it is now dead. But any place that he went and he did his Vastu consultation and he rearranged things, he was trained in Agama, and I happened to learn Agama from him as well. Agama is how to create a sacred space. Okay, so there are methods to create a sacred space. For example, the place that I am staying right now is facing a road. The entrance of the place is facing a road, and that, according to Vastu, is very bad for you. It will cause financial losses and death and all sorts of stuff in the house, right? And it had been happening to the previous owner. That's why he sold the house in a hurry, and then the one who bought it had no idea what to do. And then I came here, the house is beautiful. I said, I'll take it. And the moment I moved in here, I installed certain energy structures around the house, which cancel the energy because I learned Vastu from the right people. Okay. So it's important to learn it from a right guru. And I cannot comment on everyone who practices Vastu today. Of course, there will be people who are useless in every field. And there are people who are excellent, and you have to see by their results. Don't go by their talk. Okay, so everybody's got their funnels and their talk, and there's some great practitioners who charge you a lot of money, but they probably don't know what they're doing. They themselves are having problems in their house. Okay, so there's a lot of Vastu has to do with your own bioenergy. That's what my teacher taught me. So you are like the center, and your energy gets enhanced by the house. If your energy is shitty to begin with, then the house's energy is going to be shitty anyway, no matter what vastu you do. So the only thing that current practitioners are not taking into account is the energy of the occupant, and that's something they don't know how to read. They're not trained on how to read. They're just like going through some textbooks. Yeah, you cannot learn vastu from textbooks. Okay, you have to know what is vastu purusha, and you have to feel vastu purusha and understand how he's sitting in the house. So which is the mouth of the house, which is the excretory organs of the house, which is the digestive system of the house, where are the limbs of the house. Even the house is a living thing. So is a car. Even a car has vastu. Everything has Vastu because Vastu Purusha lives inside inanimate things. And learning how to interact with those inanimate things is Vastu Shastra, which unfortunately has become bookish knowledge now. And nobody knows how to communicate with a internet connection, for example. Nobody knows how to communicate with lights. Nobody knows how to communicate with a desk. Nobody knows how to communicate with a computer. So these are all not inanimate as we think, but they have a consciousness. And interacting with that consciousness is vastu. It's a very deep knowledge. Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to learn. Of course, there's a lot to learn.
That's very interesting. So, with respect to the Gurukulam system, right? So we've always read that, at least in the Mahabharata, right? In when the Pandavas went to learn from Dronacharya, and they when they graduate, they have their own specializations in the weapons,
Hmm.
right? So it goes perfectly in line with what you were saying is. everybody is designed for a particular thing. And
Yes.
not just that, they have their own, not just the weapons, they have their own skills as well. For example, Arjuna is very adept at dancing, and Bhima is like really good at cooking and all these things.
Hmm.
So does a guru actually teach them the skills once they find out that,
Yeah. The
that
guru is
that's not how it
like
works?
the guru does to the student what a hen does to its eggs.
Hmm, 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 hmm.
It puts its warmth on it. That's it. And then they
Hmm.
hatch and then they grow and then it's already inside them. A guru can't teach you whatever you want,
Right.
whatever he wants either. He can't teach you whatever he wants either. He
Hmm.
has to he has to put you on the path that you're designed to be
Hmm.
on.
I
So
guess the
some
word
people are
which
damn
you
disappointed, like in my Gurukulam, my teacher said that I'm going to teach you the Gada.
Hmm.
He didn't say that to a lot of senior students who were more senior than me.
Hmm.
And so they were kind of like, why are you teaching him? Why are you teaching him that? But he's taught them other stuff that he hasn't taught me.
Hmm.
And it's not that he's teaching. He doesn't teach. He just brings his energy and then you just stay in that energy for some time. He, Most of the times when he was teaching us, he would be gone to Pondicherry. Right? It was just outside Pondicherry. And
Hmm.
so he would take, he's also like active politically and all that stuff. So he'd have a political meeting and boom, he'll be gone.
Hmm.
And all he's told us is just rotate like this, like swing your hand. I remember swinging my hand for 2 hours because he went to Pondicherry. I was just swinging my hand. And he came back and then he said, you can learn Gada because I didn't give up.
Hmm.
All my classmates, I had 3 classmates with me, and they just all gave up. I didn't stop. I kept going. He came back seeing my sweat. He knew I'm the only one who's done it for 2 hours. So I'll teach you Gada. That's how it happened. But people who don't know this think that, oh, he got to learn because he's something else. They got to add a because to it.
Hmm.
And so they'll add any because to it. So that's how it is. So he couldn't have chosen to teach me the Gada. And till today, he's not given me any lessons in Gada, but I know how to use a Gada.
Hmm.
He just said one word. It's a weapon, and it can be swung over your head, behind your head, different directions. It's not like a sword. It's different from a sword. It cuts differently from a sword. You have to understand it. That's all he said.
Hmm.
And then I started putting in hours of practice with the Gada. I have 4 Gadas.
Hmm.
So I put in hours of practice with each one of them. And now I know if somebody comes, I can hit them in 10 places with one Gada with just 3 steps and 4 swings. Who taught me this? It was all inside. It was his energy that incubated it. Now I can fight with the Gada.
Hmm.
The same way I learned how to cook. Nobody taught me how to cook. I just took flavors and I started putting them together and say, this, that. I started eating food and I started suddenly realizing what flavors are in it.
Hmm.
So I was able to replicate that. And that's why I learned to draw either. Like nobody can teach you to draw, man. I went to art college and we got the same lessons, but there's still people who came to my art college who couldn't draw. And I started drawing from day one.
Hmm.
So there's things like this that our body is designed to do. It just does it. Do you know that a martial artist is also an artist always because it uses the same areas of the brain? If you're a good
Hmm.
martial artist, you can draw. If you're a
You
good
will have other
artist,
creative skills
if you're
for
a good
sure.
artist, you can fight. All martial artists are good artists, visual
Hmm.
artists. It's pretty crazy, right? And they're
Uh,
also good musicians because they use the same areas of the brain.
in saying this, they show it in Chinese movies and all, right? Like martial artists, kung fu fighters, they also practice calligraphy and things like that, like drawing and
Yes, it's wrist
those sort.
control,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
And breath control. You give a martial artist a wind instrument, he'll play it because he knows to
Mm,
control his breath.
mm,
So there are certain things that overlap, right? That's why I'm teaching a warrior school and I'm making people do all the movements.
mm,
All. I'm making everyone do all the movements. And some of them are taking those movements and becoming better at what they do in their life.
Mm.
Even if I'm talking now, I'm just doing a broadcast, I still need breath control. I need to vary my tone to keep it interesting for the audience. I can't keep talking in a monotone like this, and then it's not going to hold the interest of the audience for long if I don't have variations in my voice.
True that.
Right?
True that. Very true.
So also the words that we use and everything, it's like fighting, it's like movement, it's like the movements I teach. So look,
Yeah.
everything is movement. Every skill is movement, including intellectual skills. They are bodily movements. We think that, do you think that a brain can exist without a body? And do you think that you can take someone's brain and put it in someone else's body and it'll transplant and work? It won't. Even if it were possible to reconnect all the nerves of somebody's brain to somebody else's, it just wouldn't work because it's all one thing.
Mm.
The whole body is one thing. And how that body has to move, it has to move. How what that body has to do, it has to train those movements.
Mm.
Being alive is being able to move. And as your body wants to learn new skills, it'll seek out new movements. Notice.
It
Every
does.
time you want to learn new skills, your movements will change. Your posture will change, your movements will change. Posture is the launching place for a movement.
Mm.
Every movement launched from a particular posture has a particular effect, right? So if I want to reach up to a shelf, first I lengthen my spine to a posture, and then my effort is less to reach the shelf. If I sit like
Mm.
this and try to reach the shelf, I'm not going to reach very high. If
Very
I
true. Yeah.
curl my spine, but I want to
Mm.
curl my spine if I'm going to sleep or something.
Mm.
I can't sit ramrod straight. You know anyone who goes to sleep like this? Nobody. Ramrod straight, right? We're all
Yeah.
curling up when we're trying to go to sleep. So everything has its own movement. You want to be kind, there's a particular movement you have to do to be kind. It's not just
Mm.
body language. People think body language equals posture, but body language equals posture plus movement. Posture is just an element of movement.
Mm.
Nobody is going to freeze a posture. That is why yoga asana is very stupidly understood. Asana means the whole movement around the posture. It is not a pose. It is not a posture. People think asana is a posture,
Mm.
but asana means the uh, entire entire structure of that entire ecosystem of movements possible in that. So an asana has about 2,000 movements, each asana,
Mm.
and there are not 2,000, 1,000 movements. Every asana has around 1,000 movements. Okay, so there are
Mm.
84 asanas, and then they said there are 84,000 asanas because
Mm.
there are some textbooks that say that there are 84,000 asanas, and all of them have a certain effect on the body, and we have
Mm.
to learn those 84,000 asanas. And each of them is a life on its own. Each of them is a life path. There are
Mm.
84,000 life paths.
It feels as though like putting down all of this asana knowledge into books has made it very rigid and very
Yeah,
uh,
because books don't move, books are rigid.
yeah.
The moment you start putting things into a book, you become another religion because Hinduism is not to be found in books. The
Yeah.
Vedas were smriti. I mean, sh- shruti, not smriti, shruti.
Mm. Mm.
But the written down Vedas are called smriti because they're just like something you got to memorize.
Mm.
Smriti means memory.
Right.
But Shruti is a tune that flows. You need to tune into that. You need to tune into the Vedas. You can't
Mm.
read the Vedas for 13 years. I learned the Vedas in 13 months because I tuned into them.
Mm.
With my guru's grace, my guru sent me to another chap called Bala,
Mm.
who's not an immortal, he's mortal, but he taught me to tune into the Vedas. And I did it in 13 months. And he's like, man, this takes 13 years. You did it in 13 months. I said, my body's made for it. He's like, yeah, that's right.
Nice. Also, similarly, the Bhagavad Gita, right there in the name, it says it's a song.
It's a song, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. So the message of a song is in its music, not particularly in the lyrics. Otherwise, it
Hmm.
would be poetry.
Hmm.
A song is not poetry. So the Bhagavad Gita, you should not take it literally. You've got to read it and you've got to tune into the energy that comes from it. Many of it is secret instructions because Sanskrit is like that, it's a sneaky language. You've been learning the Shiva Tandava Stotra with me, right? How
Yep.
much information is there? And see all the videos they have on YouTube about the meaning of Shiva Tandava Stotra.
I
After
did.
attending my class and then seeing that, you feel like laughing at what they're saying because it has
Yeah.
no meaning. The literal meaning has no meaning.
Hmm.
It's just crap. Like,
Hmm.
I praise Shiva who is like this, who is like that. What? Why? Why are you praising Shiva?
This is something which I've always wondered. Like, why does a god need praise at any level at all?
Why at all? Why? He doesn't have an ego, right? Why do you need to praise
Yeah.
him?
Yeah. That never made any sense to me.
Everything that is written as praise to a god
Hmm.
has very profound inner meanings. So if Ravana is saying that, referring to a bee, that something about Shiva is like a bee buzzing, he's talking about some mystical part of your own head, Brahmara Guha, for example. If you don't
Hmm.
know which part of your body buzzes like a bee, people don't know. I mean, people don't even know who's the finance minister. But then you can ask them, which part of your body buzzes like a bee? Tell me. And you'll get blank stares from people. They don't know.
Hmm.
Okay? So they've not observed their body. They don't live in their body. They live in their
Hmm.
phone. They live in a TikTok video.
Yeah.
This is where people live. They live inside a TikTok video.
We
That's
live in
where,
binge watch.
yeah, so they know. I mean, it's not even, they can't even binge watch because, to watch a series takes time and patience because each episode is 90 minutes or 45
Hmm.
minutes or whatever, 45 minutes. Each episode is 45 minutes. They don't have 45 minutes of attention. They need breaks to watch a series.
Hmm.
They can't binge watch either. But they
Hmm.
can binge watch small, 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 small things. So even now, earlier advertisements used to be this long and
Hmm.
people had the patience and the intelligence to read through everything. Now you have to make advertisement just within 3 seconds get the attention of the audience. The headline
Yeah.
is everything.
Yeah. Minimal words. Oh God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so our own capacity, our attention span has become so small that
Hmm.
I can't pay attention to anything. I mean, I've given a lot of talks, but some of them are 45 minutes long. Nobody watches
Yeah. True
because
that.
they're really. So Manish
Uh,
is saying, one second, Manish is saying, I want to read Bhagavad Gita. I just don't know how to go about it because it's not like reading a regular book. Yeah, it's not like reading a regular book. So don't bother reading it. You have to have a guru, only then it's going to work. Okay? You need that energy. The guru needs to give you that energy, and then you can read any book, and then it'll make sense to you. My guru's given me the energy to read any textbook and make sense of it,
hmm.
which is what I do. But that doesn't mean my knowledge is textbookish or, it's coming from a static source like a book. No, it's very dynamic. That's what mantras are for, man. Mantras are to create that energy, the bioenergy. So with my new toy, I'm going to start publishing all the results. There's a training process also. I just purchased it, and then there's going to be a training process. The training itself will take a month on how to use it. I mean, it's done in a weekend or something, but then I'll have to practice it. Once I practice it, then you'll see. I'm going to put out all these scientific research stuff. I have a lot of ideas on how I can use this new toy.
Hmm.
Anyway,
So I had another question regarding the Gurukulam system. uh, how would somebody choose a teacher or choose a Gurukulam in the first place? Is it based on the skills which they're learning, or is it just the universe brings them together kind of a thing?
universe doesn't bring them together. Their own fed upness makes them look. When they get fed up, they start searching.
Hmm.
So you got to be really fed up, and somehow you'll create this. You can't be stopped when you're fed up of something. You're like, this has to change. It can't go on forever. But people
Hmm.
who still have faith in whatever system of education that is being given to you, please continue with it. Don't lose it. Continue with it. Don't get distracted because maybe your body is built for that.
Hmm.
You got to know whether your body is comfortable or not. You start by being body aware. Okay, the universe doesn't bring you anything. The body brings. Your body changes its vibrations, and then you know your movements change. You start moving differently. You have to start moving differently. Okay, people are busy moving the same way and saying affirmations. I feel sorry for them. If you can't change how you're moving, and you're busy just saying affirmations that I have found the knowledge that I want, I feel sorry for you.
Hmm. Nice.
If you move differently today, you'll get different results tomorrow. Because the body arranges things. The body's bioenergy arranges matter around it.
Hmm.
Who knew? Well, you're doing it every day, but you need to observe it. Look, even this is a transmission. If you're sitting and listening to this, it's an energy transmission for you to be able to do it. So
Hmm.
you'll figure it out. You don't need 10 pages of instruction for that. After getting the energy, people are still asking me questions. It means they didn't receive the energy. They haven't started moving differently. I've also been waiting and seeing. Like, I just create the energy and let people sit in there. And the ones that are affected by it, I teach more. I create more energy for them, different energy. The ones that aren't affected by it, not interested, want to be in their own cocoon, don't want to sense anything outside of their own negative thoughts, they need to cook some more in those negative thoughts and get fed up, which is okay. There's no hurry. Everyone's immortal. Everyone's soul is immortal. Body may go,
Hmm.
but their soul is immortal, right? So they'll come back. See you next birth. If you can't do it in this birth, see you next birth. Those who want to do in this birth, come here. Come here. I have something to teach you. Those who want to learn in next birth, they can see you next birth. What's a hurry now? We don't have to agree on anything. But if you want to learn from me, you have to agree with me 100%. Otherwise, how can you
Hmm.
learn from me? Agreement, disagreement causes a glitch in the energy.
It does. Yeah.
And so if you disagree with someone, you can't create things together. That's why sahana bhavatu, sahana bhunaktu. May our energies work together. Sahaviryam, our viryam, let our viryam be coordinated. Let our tejas be coordinated.
Hmm.
These are different types of energy that are there in the body. Tejasvinavadhitamastu and ma vidvishavahai. That means never maybe have disagreements. Never get into disagreement with your teacher. This is the shloka which is there in the Taittiriya Upanishad. It's an advice to students. Taittiriya Upanishad is a rule of Hinduism book, which has all the rules you have to follow if you want to call yourself a Hindu. What happened? Ah, yeah. Which has all the rules you must follow if you want to call yourself a Hindu. But then when you
Hmm.
read that book without a guru's grace, you will understand what? Ghanta. And the gurus, some of the gurus have made interpretations and translations of that book which is laughable. They have no idea.
Yeah.
There is one more question. Shall I take it? It's an
Yeah, yeah,
interesting
please.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
What is your view on teaching preschoolers? Um, I just think that the teacher is the guru, and it's closer to a Gurukulam system than the regular education. So with preschoolers, you have only to make the energy. You don't have to do anything else. If you have the energy there, that let each one of them learn something, and I'm just going to make the atmosphere, and they're going to discover stuff. They're going to discover stuff. I'm just going to make the atmosphere. Their eggs, I'm hen. I don't have to do anything. Just give warmth. If you have that kind of attitude, then they learn a lot. I learned a lot with my not preschool, but even in my kindergarten school. I learned a lot because the teacher there was very loving. The principal there was very loving. That's it. Because I was probably autistic when I was a kid. I don't know, and I had a bad stammering problem, and I had really bad health. I was not able to compete in it. I would do stupid stuff like in a running race, I would run on the opposite direction. So there was some level of autism. I couldn't really understand what people are saying. And there was no kind of empathy that I could have with anything they were teaching. It just went over my head. I used to just
Hmm.
sit and smile at everyone because I didn't understand anything what was being taught. But the teacher's energy made me understand so many things. And by the time I came to the third grade, she had cured me of my autism just with her energy. The main principal,
Hmm.
Mrs. Joseph was her name, and she had a school called Arunodaya, which is like what do you call it? The sunrise, the orange part of the sunrise. That's called Arunodaya. And she had something there about light. Being a Christian and a very devout Christian, she would always invoke the light within herself, and that energy would come out to all the kids. I have seen her pray for each and every kid in the class and in the school. And she used to bring that energy, and that's about it. Okay, so you need to bring that energy there that everybody can learn. I had so much stammering. I stammered so much once. I bounced and bounced and bounced, and I knocked over a teacher because of my stammering. And then I'm just a kid. I happened to hit them in the right leverage points. And then you know what she said? She said, "You can learn judo because you threw a lady who is 4 or 5 times your weight. So you can learn judo. You can be very good. You'll be a very good martial artist." She told me that, and I became a very good martial artist. All right. So you need to be in a higher consciousness.
Hmm.
Loveness school. Yeah. My mom remembers her name, Akka Joseph. Yeah. So she was pretty amazing, right? So I learned a lot over there. And I was
Hmm.
topping the class by the time I came to third standard. I started understanding all the concepts and
Hmm.
things were okay. I used to do stuff like I threw a kid once off the slide because I got mad at him for something. I mean, the swing. He was swinging and I pushed him off the swing and he went and crashed and a whole lot of shit happened that day.
Hmm.
Once I just peed in my pants and it was so embarrassing. But then she came there with her energy and then something happened and I was not scarred mentally by that. Otherwise, you would be scarred mentally for life with these things.
Mm.
So preschool is very important. If you got the heart for it, then you don't have to do any techniques. Do what I do with my students, Loveness School. Do what I do with my students. I just maintain an energy for them and I care about them. That's about it. I don't have
Mm.
any techniques. Sometimes my students come to me like bleeding from various parts of their body. I'm just holding the energy for them to learn. Like people come to me in really bad shape, is what I'm trying to say. Emotionally, mentally. Ashwin, you know this.
Yeah.
People come to me in really bad shape. I not only cure them, I cure their parents also, just by energy, just by holding the energy. Okay. Yeah, the whole family I cure. So if I can do that, why can't you do that with your school? You should.
Mm. Uh,
Anyway,
with regards to the preschooling thing, there's another question along those lines. It is said that our mothers are our first teachers, and they also play a very nurturing role in our life,
well,
right?
all the
So,
adults around you, all the adults around
mm,
you, you're not interacting only with your mother.
true.
So don't blame the mother, poor mother.
Mm,
Don't put so much pressure on the mother. She just gave birth to you and she's breastfeeding you, and that's about it. But the rest of the
mm,
day, you're with other people. You're with uncles, you're with aunts, you're with grandparents. But nowadays, we don't have that.
mm.
We are only with I don't know, with what are we with? Phones.
Mother, father, yeah, yeah. They are
Yeah,
with phones, yeah.
the phone is the main teacher.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
mean, kids are given mobile phones at a very early age these days, right? That's also there.
because the parents don't have time for them.
Mm.
You shouldn't be reproducing if you don't have time for your kid. I mean, if you don't have an ecosystem to it, takes a village to bring up a kid, man. If you don't have the ecosystem, then don't have kids.
So it's not just the
I,
mother
I
and
feel
parents,
I, I feel that
mother and father.
we're just forcing young couples to have kids without giving them the infrastructure to look after those kids, and it's not fair. It's not right. We shouldn't do that. Anyway,
Yeah. Kids, I've heard a lot of people say that kids are such a financial burden. They take up so much of the time of the parents, and
yeah, because
it
they have
affects a
them too
lot.
soon. The parents have them too soon because of social pressure again. When's the good news? Like slap those guys, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, spiritual travel diary says TV too. Yeah, TV too.
So that
Glued to
YouTube.
TV, glued to YouTube, whatever.
So it is not just the energy of the mother and father which affects the child. It's got a lot to do with the environment as well. The kind of energy which the environment itself holds.
Yes. I look at every child as humanity's investment in the future,
Mm.
and everyone should care about every child. It's important. Don't just care about only your kids. Lend a hand if you see a struggling parent. Help them out.
Yeah.
Because those are young ones. It's everybody's young ones. We put too much pressure on two parents to be like, you're responsible for how this kid turns out. Why don't you
Yeah,
help
and
them?
they're expected to be perfect on their first attempt as well. So that's
How
again
can we
very
be,
ridiculous.
right? Like, what about people who've already brought up kids? Why are you not mentoring those young parents?
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a total lack of mentorship and a total lack of confidence among people to mentor someone. If you know something, don't be hesitant to go and mentor someone. Just do it. You don't need any qualification. I don't have a yoga certificate, man. I learned from Mahathir Babaji. That's my claim, right?
Mm.
A few people have seen me with him, but they wouldn't even know that he was Mahathir Babaji because he doesn't come like that. He doesn't look like Cher. Wait, I made a funny image today just for fun. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Where is it? You know Cher? Do you know Cher?
Yeah.
The singer? They're turning Baba into Cher, you know?
Oh yeah,
Baba's
yeah.
my guru.
With each photo, he becomes fairer and fairer, right? It's like they're applying fair and lovely on him. They
Yeah,
became more
first of
and more
all, he's a
glamorous.
Tamilian, okay?
Uh,
That should tell you something. Baba's a Tamilian, and he was born in Parangipette.
hmm.
Can he be white? Tell me. Okay, I'm going to share this for the audience, just for a laugh, okay? And see how they made Baba, how they made my guru. Can you see this? Yeah,
Loading.
you can
Yeah.
see it now.
Yeah.
On the left is Baba, on the right is Cher. What's happening, guys? Stop the shit. Seriously. Can't believe it. Anyway, so Baba's become Cher now.
Yeah.
I was I telling you about this? I forgot. It's just funny though.
It's how you learn from Baba, but you don't have a certificate or any
I
something.
don't have
Those
any
things
yoga
don't matter.
certificate, okay? But I
Hmm.
know how Baba looks and I can paint him, and I'm going to do
Hmm.
much better painting when I get the time.
Hmm.
I don't know when I'll get the time, but I'll do it. Okay. So it's gonna take a month for me to finish that painting because I'm gonna put my soul into it.
Hmm.
Today I painted Kali on my phone and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, I put so much of energy into this. I really
Hmm.
felt her energy and I drew it. I've shared it on my Facebook wall
Yep.
if somebody wants it. It's all drawn from a very deep consciousness. Okay, so how is all this happening? I don't have a certificate. You don't need a certificate to teach anyone, guys. You need the energy. Your energy is your certificate. If you have your energy, you'll have the capability. That's about it. Okay. So don't go around thinking. Okay. Also, don't go around thinking I'm encouraging unqualified people to teach. Your qualification is your energy, not your certificate of some university. It's your capability. It's your capacity, and that's what it is. So, if you have good results in your life in the area that you want to teach, you are already qualified to teach. You want to teach martial arts, you should be able to fight. You should have been in fights. Then you teach martial arts. You want to teach music, you should have played music and you should have had a lot of people appreciate it. You should have a big fan following. Then you can teach music. Because otherwise, you're going to teach people music, but you're not going to give them the energy to take that music to the world. What's the point then? Yeah. So if I'm teaching someone yoga, I better be a yogi myself. I better understand what yoga is myself. I better be living the yogi lifestyle. My company is called Yogi Lifestyle Academy. Okay, so I'm living the yogi lifestyle. You can see I'm not dressed like you.
Yeah.
And then there's an energy. Okay, I got all these beads from my teacher. I don't need I didn't buy. I mean, I can't buy them in a shop. Okay, I got all this I got from my teacher. Everything I'm wearing I got from my teacher. And I'm wearing one lungi on dhoti, which I got from my student. I haven't bought any of this stuff for myself. They've been given to me specifically because it suits my lifestyle.
Hmm.
And everything I'm doing is part of that. Okay, so when I'm living like a yogi, I can teach yoga. Otherwise, I can't. I don't have any moral right to teach yoga if I'm not living like a yogi. If I have my mom and dad telling me what to do, then I can't teach yoga.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
So
feel
I'm done with.
confident to teach as long as you're getting results in your field, whatever you're teaching. And you guys, whoever watch this, you're the new education system.
Hmm.
You're the new gurus, you're the new gurukulam. So you first get results and then you teach others how to get those results. You already started your own system of education. There's a mushrooming of teachers today. Siddharth Rajshekhar just released a book called You Can Coach. And so his vision is he's like bang against the education system. He wants to like destroy the education system.
Hmm.
So he's going to create a whole breed of teachers. So there's change coming anyway. Education system is dead. Why do adults have to continue to learn things then if the education system was so effective?
Yeah.
Education is a lifelong process, let's understand, and we need mentors. The only thing that never changes is that you need a mentor, not to teach you the nitty gritties and every step of the way, not like that, but you need a mentor. Why? To hold the energy for you. And that's about it. To be non judgmental and to teach you that it's okay to fail and
Hmm.
to have patience. This much, if a mentor teaches you, you have a good mentor. They won't
Hmm.
go out of their way and then give you techniques and teach you this and that. They just leave you alone. That's how you know a good mentor. They leave you alone.
Hmm.
They're not behind your back. When you have a problem, you go to them. They'll fix your problem. But if you don't go to them with your problem, then it means you're not keen on learning because you're scared to
Hmm.
admit your mistakes and you're full of ego. How can you learn? It's a very old system. It's already there. There's no need to disrupt anything. I hate disruption. Why should you disrupt anything? It's so much energy and so violent. Just create new things. Don't disrupt anything. When something has outlived its usefulness, it will destroy itself. There are no useless things allowed to exist in this universe. If you exist, remember you have some use. All right, let's call it a day. It's been a very long
Done.
talk.
Yeah, I'm also done with my questions.
All right, great.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ashwin, for doing this. And
Thank you.
audience, we'll see you next week. Do let us know what you think about this talk and whether you got any value. Write to us. You can message me on this page. You can message me or Ashwin Sirhati in person as well to let your views be known. Okay, and also tell us what you want to hear about because we're working on systems here. We're showing you how yogis can design something. Yeah, Manisha says that it's a great lesson for me, and Shweta says great lesson, got lots of value. Okay, great. All right, excellent. All right, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, we'll be back next week, right?
Yep, 100%.
All right, we'll be back next week, same time. So stay tuned.